Right, so get this. Today we are going deep, really deep, into some mind-bending stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fractality and time, what they have to do with each other. We're going to be looking at some excerpts from a conversation between Dan Winter,
Okay.
you know, the sacred geometry guy,
Yeah.
how nature designs itself,
Yeah.
and some of his colleagues. They were talking about his new invention. They got super interesting when they went off on these like really radical ideas about time.
It is interesting how Dan Winter always seems to suggest that time is not this like linear thing that we experience, but more like, I don't know, a multidimensional tapestry with all of these like patterns and connections woven into it.
Okay.
And that's, I think, where this concept of fractality comes in.
So hold on. Before we go too far down the rabbit hole here,
Yeah.
can we back up and just like define fractality for
Yeah.
everyone listening?
Sure.
Like, yeah, we've all seen those cool pictures of fractals.
Yeah.
But how does that even apply to time?
So think of, I don't know, like a fern.
Okay.
Each frond is like a mini version of the whole plant, right?
Right.
A self-similar pattern that repeats at different scales.
Yeah.
That's basically fractality.
Okay.
And what Winter's saying is that this same kind of principle applies to time.
Okay.
It's not just a straight line, but more like this nested structure of cycles within cycles.
So instead of like minutes and hours just ticking by in a line,
Right.
there are all these layers of time embedded within each other.
Exactly. And Winter connects time and space through this concept of Planck length time, which is like the smallest possible unit of measurement in physics.
Okay.
Like imagine it's the pixel size of the universe.
Oh, yeah.
And from that perspective, time becomes the rate at which a fundamental energy, which he calls charge, spins or rotates.
Okay. So this charge concept, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Is there a way to kind of picture this idea of time as like a spinning energy? It's pretty different from thinking about it as a clock on the wall.
Think of it like a vortex. Like the faster the vortex spins, the more energy gets sucked into its center.
Okay.
Winter is suggesting something similar is happening with time.
Right.
Like the faster that charge is spinning, the faster time is flowing for that particular system.
So you're saying that the rate at which time passes isn't constant,
Yeah.
that it can vary depending on the spinning charge.
Exactly.
That's kind of wild.
And it gets even wilder. He goes on to talk about how there are these specific points in space-time where the fabric like compresses,
Yeah.
creating these concentrated points of energy, which he calls nodes.
Nodes. Are these like energetic hotspots then? Like in the universe?
Exactly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he associates these nodes with places where there's heightened energy,
Okay.
potentially even like altered perceptions of time.
Interesting.
You know, like ancient sacred sites like Stonehenge or the pyramids.
Right.
You know, places that people often describe as having a certain kind of like energy.
A unique feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely. So he's saying that the reason why those places feel different
Potentially.
is because they're located at these energetic nodes
Yeah, it could be.
where the fabric of space-time is compressed.
It's a compelling idea, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it connects to his view that the entire universe is structured kind of like a giant dodecahedron, which is this geometric shape with 12 pentagonal faces.
Right.
And he believes that these nodes are occurring at the points of this cosmic dodecahedron.
So there's this network of energetic points throughout the universe.
Yeah, kind of like a cosmic web.
Okay, so we've got a universe structured by geometry.
Yeah,
We've got these energetic nodes scattered throughout it,
right.
influencing the flow of time. I mean, it's pretty different from the standard model of physics.
Definitely a different perspective.
Yeah, but how does this all, like, affect us in our daily lives?
Well, Winter believes that understanding these principles of fractality and time can actually have a pretty profound impact on our well-being, even our understanding of consciousness.
Okay. And he uses this really practical example to illustrate it, this ancient Indian fire ritual known as Agnihotra.
Agnihotra, yeah.
You familiar with that?
I've heard of it, but I don't know a lot about it.
Okay.
So how does a fire ritual like tie into fractality and time?
Well, so Agnihotra is performed at sunrise and sunset, very specific points in the Earth's rotation. Yeah. And according to Winter, these precise moments create this special alignment between the Earth and the sun.
Okay.
And this generates a phenomenon that he calls phase conjugation.
Okay, phase conjugation.
That sounds pretty technical.
It does sound kind of technical. Can you break that down?
Sure. So basically, it's a process that that amplifies energy and order. It
Right.
creates like a more coherent and harmonious energy field. And Winter's suggesting that the perpendicular alignment of the Earth and the Sun at sunrise and sunset like maximizes this effect.
Okay.
It's like these two celestial bodies are striking a cosmic tuning fork, at just the right moment. So it's not just about the fire itself.
Yeah.
It's about the timing.
It's about the specific timing of the ritual
Okay.
that creates this potent energetic effect.
Gotcha. So then that brings us to another important concept, the golden ratio.
Right.
This mathematical proportion that we see all over in nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the spiral of a nautilus shell to the arrangement of petals in a sunflower.
Yep.
Wait. So the golden ratio is involved in time, too.
It is, yeah.
I always thought of it as more of like an aesthetic principle, something that relates to beauty and harmony in nature.
Well, it's definitely present in those things.
Yeah.
But Winter suggests that the golden ratio has this much deeper role in the universe.
Okay.
That it acts like this fundamental organizing principle for energy flow and even time itself.
Okay, now I'm really curious. How does the golden ratio connect to the flow of time? Like, what makes it so special? So we were talking about the golden ratio, this math idea that we see everywhere in nature. But how does it actually relate to time? Like, what's the connection there?
Well, Winter's idea is that the golden ratio is key to understanding how energy patterns can, embed themselves within each other, creating a kind of nested fractal structure in time. Think about it. If you try to fit squares inside of squares, you always end up with those gaps, right? Leftover space.
Right, yeah.
But when you use the golden ratio, the smaller patterns fit perfectly inside the larger ones.
Okay.
And that creates a much more efficient and harmonious flow of energy.
So it's not just about, what the pattern is.
Right.
It's about when it happens and how it's structured.
Exactly.
The golden ratio is dictating the timing and the structure of the energy flow, creating the kind of symphony of interconnected patterns.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. A symphony of patterns across different scales of time.
Okay, cool. So this brings us to one of Winter's more controversial ideas.
Yeah.
This concept of plasma parasites.
Right.
Remember how we were talking about charge being this fundamental energy?
Yeah.
Well, Winter believes that there can be distortions or blockages in this energy flow, which he calls plasma parasites. Okay, plasma parasites sounds kind of like a sci-fi movie.
Right.
Are we talking about actual entities here?
It's a bit of both.
Or is it more of a metaphor for energetic imbalances?
Think about it this way. If the golden ratio represents harmony and connection, then plasma parasites are kind of the opposite, right? They're disruptions in that flow of energy.
Okay.
Areas where that fractal structure breaks down and chaos sort of takes over.
So are you saying that these disruptions can actually influence our reality? Could they be responsible for negative experiences, maybe even physical ailments?
Well, Winter suggests that these plasma parasites can show up in lots of different ways.
Okay.
Like negative emotions, thought patterns, environmental pollution, even potentially some illnesses.
Wow.
He sees them as kind of like energetic pollution, something that disrupts the natural flow of energy in our bodies and the environment.
That's kind of scary. Is there anything we could do to protect ourselves from them? Or are we just, at their mercy?
Well, this is where Winter's ideas get really interesting.
Okay.
He says that by aligning ourselves with the principles of fractality and the golden ratio, we can actually strengthen our own energy fields. Wow. And that makes us more resilient to these disruptive influences.
So by cultivating harmony and balance in our own lives, we're basically creating a shield against these plasma parasites. That's pretty empowering.
Right. It's like taking control of your own energetic health. And it ties into an even bigger idea that Winter proposes.
Okay, what's that?
The possibility of advanced civilizations manipulating time itself by mastering these principles of fractality and energy flow.
Wait, hold on. Time travel. Were we really talking about time travel?
It definitely pushes the boundaries of conventional thinking.
Yeah. It does. It's a big leap from talking about fire rituals and the golden ratio.
It is. But Winter's theory is that by understanding how to work with those energetic nodes and harness the power of the golden ratio, it might actually be possible to influence the very fabric of space-time.
So instead of building some kind of time machine, We're talking about like changing the flow of time by messing with energy.
Right.
I mean, that's a whole other level of technology. It almost sounds like magic.
It's a mind-blowing concept, for sure. And Winter even suggests that some ancient cultures might have already had this knowledge
Yeah.
and used it to achieve things that we still can't really explain today.
So are we talking about pyramids as time machines or ancient rituals that could like bend the laws of physics? This is getting pretty wild.
I know, right? While we don't have any hard evidence to back those claims up, it is pretty fascinating to think about the possibility that ancient civilizations might have had a much deeper understanding of the universe than we give them credit for.
Yeah, that they understood some of these hidden mechanics.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, so time travel is still a big maybe.
Yeah.
But what about those other things that Winter mentions, like lucid dreaming and astral projection?
Yeah.
Do those fit into this whole idea of fractality and energy flow?
Absolutely. Winter sees those experiences as examples of consciousness kind of expanding beyond its normal limitations, like tapping into realms beyond our everyday perceptions. And he believes that understanding these principles of fractality and energy flow could help us unlock those hidden dimensions.
So it's not just about physical travel through time.
Right.
It's about mental and spiritual exploration, too.
Yeah, like inner space travel.
It sounds like Winter is suggesting a whole new way of understanding consciousness and how it relates to the universe.
He is, and that's what I find so compelling about his work. Even if some of it seems far out, it makes you question your assumptions about reality and consider the possibility that we're capable of a lot more than we think we are.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to think about.
It is.
Maybe we need a moment to just pause and reflect on all of this before we go any further. This is some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, good idea. It's important to take a step back and let these ideas kind of sink in a bit.
Okay, I need a minute to like process all of that. Plasma parasites and time travel. That's intense.
It really does make you rethink everything we think we know about the universe, right?
Yeah.
But, even if some of Winter's ideas sound a little, I don't know, out there, I think they point to something really important, this idea that everything is connected.
It's like that saying, as above, so below, right? What's happening out there in the cosmos is reflected down here, even in the tiniest particles.
Exactly. And Winter's work, even if it's a little speculative, it really encourages us to see ourselves not as these isolated individuals, but as like parts of this huge web of energy and consciousness.
So, okay, maybe we're not building time machines in our garages anytime soon.
Right.
But the big takeaway is that we're all connected.
Right.
And everything we do, everything we are, it has an impact, like it ripples out into the universe.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to something we were talking about earlier, the importance of aligning ourselves with those natural rhythms.
Okay.
If time isn't just a straight line, but this like multi-dimensional tapestry of cycles,
right,
then, getting in sync with those cycles could be super powerful.
So are you saying that things like mindfulness, being out in nature, even just paying attention to the cycles of the sun and moon.
Yeah, exactly.
That those things could help us tap into that interconnectedness.
Absolutely. All of those practices can help us become more aware of those subtle energies that are influencing our lives and the universe around us. And who knows, maybe if we do that, we'll start experiencing more synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that make you feel like you're like on the right track.
I like that. Yeah, like we're all creating this reality together, weaving our own little threads into this big tapestry of time and space. And maybe if we understand these principles of fractality and time, we can become like more conscious weavers, right?
Yeah.
Creating a better, more harmonious pattern for ourselves and the people who come after us.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's like Winter's work, even though it's challenging, it gives us hope. It gives us possibility. Like we have the power to shape reality, maybe even influence time through our actions and our intentions.
I think we've officially reached peak deep dive enlightenment for today.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. It's really stretched our understanding and given us new ways of looking at time, consciousness, and how it all fits together.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. And, this is just the beginning. There's so much more to discover in Winter's work and within ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So to everyone listening, keep exploring. Dive into Dan Winter's research, maybe try out some of the things we've talked about, and pay attention to those synchronicities, those patterns showing up in your life. You never know what you might find.
The universe is full of mystery and wonder. Keep looking for those answers, keep asking those questions, and keep diving deep.
And until next time, keep exploring all those amazing possibilities that are out there, both inside you and in the universe around you.